2 months ago, federal officials took the unprecedented step of telling the 7 states that depend on the waters of the Colorado River to prepare for emergency cuts next year to keep reservoirs from sinking to dangerously low levels. States and managers of affected water agencies have been directed to submit plans to drastically reduce water use by 2 million to 4 million acre-feet by mid-August. After weeks of negotiations, which some participants say have become tense and acrimonious at times, the parties have yet to reach an agreement. The lack of an agreement now increases the risk that the Colorado River crisis, caused by chronic overwork and the drying west climate, could become a legal morass. Home Office officials have warned they stand ready to make cuts if necessary to protect reservoir levels. Water agency managers say they have been discussing proposals and will continue to negotiate, hoping to secure enough reductions to meet the Biden administration's demands, which would mean cutting the total amount of water diverted by about 15% to 30% to reduce. But some observers fear the talks could stall and say they see growing potential for federal intervention, lawsuits and court cases. There are many different interests in loggerheads. And there's a lot to overcome. And there's a lot of animosity, said Kyle Roerink, executive director of the Great Basin Water Network. The latest round of behind-closed-door talks took place in Denver on Thursday. Participants said they would not publicly discuss the water reduction bids made so far, but acknowledged that those bids have totaled far less than 2 million acre-feet. For comparison, Los Angeles' total annual water use is nearly 500,000 acre-feet. Those involved in the negotiations say there have been difficult discussions between states and between urban and agricultural water districts. There were also growing tensions between the states of the river's lower basin, California, Arizona, and Nevada, and those of the upper basin, Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, and Utah. Roerink said if regional tensions and dividing lines continue and deepen alongside drier winters, the Colorado River Basin appears headed for conflict. It's going to be a mess, Roerink said. I don't see how we can ever overcome some of what I believe are irreconcilable differences between states. The Federal Bureau of Reclamation is scheduled to hold a news conference Tuesday to unveil the government's latest projections on reservoir levels, which will mandate water cuts for lower basin states under an earlier 2019 deal. Lake Mead and Lake Powell have fallen to record lows, now nearly 3/4 empty, and are forecast to sink further. Reclamation officials are expected to provide an update on the water cut proposals that have been discussed so far. They have not said how they will react to the lack of an agreement between the states. The federal government's call for urgent action came at a June 14 congressional hearing, when Bureau of Reclamation Commissioner Camille Kalimlim Tautin announced that cuts of 2 million to 4 million acre-feet would be required in 2023 to counteract the sinking reservoir levels. She warned that the Bureau had the power to act unilaterally to protect the system. Tautin called for a plan for the reductions to be negotiated within 60 days, a schedule that was not met. Upper basin states have focused on lower basin states, which use more water to contribute a majority of the reductions. In a July 18 letter to Tautin, Charles Cullum, executive director of the Upper Colorado River Commission, said the upper 4 states had limited options for protecting the reservoirs. Cullum wrote that past drought response measures are depleting 661,000 acre-feet of upstream reservoirs, and that the 4 states' water users are already suffering from chronic shortages under current conditions. Cullum offered a plan with distinct steps in the upper basin, but said, additional efforts to protect critical reservoir elevations must include significant action focused downstream. One of the organizations asking many water managers for important contributions is the Imperial Irrigation District, which provides farmland in California's Imperial Valley and controls most of the Colorado River's water. ID board member J.B. Hamby said the California water districts have made significant suggestions of where we think we can be in a very short time. He declined to discuss how much water these proposals would save and leave in Lake Mead. We're seeing different approaches from other states, Hamby said. The upper basin isn't contributing anything solid at this point, and things are still in flux with Arizona and Nevada. Even as the river finds itself in a crisis that requires contributions from across the region, Hamby said it is staying away from any agreements being signed.